Good evening, everyone, and fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is Guy, and I am being here again doing the thing. Okay, the music's starting. All right. I have to check my lists of things. I am turning in my animations to the team. I wanted to double check that I had every animation. That'd be really nice if I did. So, trying to see where all of my animations went so that I can find them all, because I know I got to turn them in. It's just been a good evening, Donald. Quack, quack. I like that. How you doing, my dear friend? Questions do I have? Yep, they think that's fun. Go away! Jesus, now I'm all shook up and I'm shaking. Why do people think that's funny? Why do people think that's cool? Why do people think that's a good thing to do? It's like they're getting closer to the house every night. Like they're sticking it right next to the window. My windows are closed. And I saw it spike my monitor. It's so loud that it spiked my monitor inside a room with the door closed. Man, makes me so mad. Yeah, somebody's firing off those mortars in the park right across the street. But they're really loud. This time it set off all the car alarms in the neighborhood. I mean, and they've done it every night. Every single night they've done it. And it scares me to death. And it makes it so that I've got to like sit here and like calm myself down. My heart's racing. Oh man, people have PTSD, guys. People have PTSD. You guys have got to stop doing that. Okay, I'm gonna try to calm down and get back to work. It's still Art Crumbs, but they're not here yet. They'll get here a little later on. Is Art Crumbs actually broadcasting out on my streams now? Oh, they are. Oh, good. Yes. So Art Crumbs does one broadcast earlier, and then later on they join this podcast, and we are the Quasar Art Collective, which is a group of artists that get together and work together as a team. And so we use a restreamer, and Art Crumbs, or in this case, Cat, restreams out on our restreamer. And so you just walked in on the weirdest part of the you just walked in the part where I just set up to start, and then some idiot outside fired off one of those mortars that set off all the car alarms and shook my windows and scared the hell out of me. And they've been doing it every night since June, the middle of June. And we really just need to say, look, can the Westminster Police just sit out there for a little while? Because they're coming out every night and firing them off, because I think somebody, oh no, she didn't get hacked. She's fine. This is supposed to happen. She'll be here at some point. Usually a few more minutes. She usually does dinner right about now. So she goes and gets the dinner and does the dinner thing and feeds miso and, all the things. And then shows up right about now. She can add herself though, right? Maybe. Yeah, well, she's here. She just didn't add herself to the stream, and I'm not sure why. She's in the green room. If you want to hang on, she'll be here in a sec. I'll switch to what I was doing, which is I'm searching for what my situation is.
Okay. I think I got it this time.
Oh, there you are. I can hear you.
Okay.
Ish.
Oh, maybe I have the wrong sound on. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep. But
Okay.
you do sound like you're not on your good mic. You sound like you're kind of on your bad mic.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let me try the other one then. Because I have the one I usually use. Let me try the other one. Okay, it just worked.
Oh, yeah. No, never mind. Go back to the other one. You're right. It's just a matter of apparently understanding where and when and how.
Yeah, that's funny. No, that's okay. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's. Can you hear my AC in the background? Maybe. Yeah, can you hear me now? Exactly. Right. Did someone have a question for me? Did I hear right?
Oh, I was just so what is it? Basius is up there. Came in to see the video and instead got treated to somebody firing off a mortar right by my room and me having to yell at them because I'm really over it. Because it scares the bejeebers out of me. And I keep and I think somebody called the cops on them, and so now they're doing the I'll show you, and they're coming out every night to fire those things and then run.
Gosh.
So they've been doing it every night since June, like late June. And I am so tired of it. Tonight, the one they fired set off all the car alarms in the neighborhood.
Really? Car alarm, damn.
It's shaking my windows.
People need to get a life.
Right? And they really need to leave me alone.
That's my opinion. Get a life, you losers.
Right?
Like, there's a time and a place, but like that time is over.
Right? I mean, I'm willing to put up. I'm really sensitive to loud noises and abrupt noises.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to put up with a little bit,
Yeah. My dad's a veteran. He had like 20 something years of service, so he's sensitive to it too. Not like like he'll not like over the top react sensitive, but like it still bothers him.
Right.
And I hate it too, because it's like they'll shoot him off really late at night, and it's like, bruh, I'm trying to sleep, please.
Right.
Like, I know you have nothing to do with your life, but I have stuff to do.
Right? Exactly. It's like, I get it.
Yeah.
But, it's still, it startles me and it scares me and it makes my pulse race. And then it takes me forever to settle back in and get to work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's like I'm still shaking a little bit. And so it's like they need to stop. That's not okay. I get the idea. You should be able to do whatever you want because you're free, but hurting other people is not okay.
Yeah. That shouldn't be a valid option.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be drawing immediately.
Yeah, I'm supposed to upload all of the animations that I was doing for my driving school.
Mm-hmm.
And it has been like 3 months since I've even checked the folder. So I was going,
You need to finish
1 minute
something.
after noise ordinance is enforced. Yeah. Yeah, they're just being, oh yeah, you can't force me to do anything because I got freedoms.
You're not my real dad.
Yeah. It's such a petty, stupid thing.
I'm so sleepy. I'm never this sleepy.
Are you sleepy?
I'm extremely tired.
I was really tired until somebody fired the thing off. Now I'm not tired, but I will probably settle down to really tired. So we might cut the show short tonight. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
I would not be opposed.
Yeah, my brain is just like, well, I didn't know Viz was doing freaking portfolio reviews at San Diego. And I thought, well, do I want to even try?
Right.
And because usually you have to register for those. You have to like register in advance. Like schedule a slot. And I have seen absolutely nothing. Like I checked Twitter, I checked Facebook, I checked their website, like looking, and I have emails from them. So
Right.
like I've seen nothing about like having to register for something.
Right.
And I'm kind of like, do I want to bother trying to gather a portfolio together last minute? Especially when I know, like, I'm not gonna submit to them anyway. Like, I could probably find better ways to spend my life, I guess.
Yep.
So I was trying to figure out how if I wanna even bother.
Is that you, Brent? Popping in and saying hi.
Oof. I'm so stiff. Yeah, what I'll probably do today is just sort out all the pages and start maybe working on scripty stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
When I get ready to draw, I'm also having to prepare all my stuff in advance because I'll be at San Diego next week. So I'm having to do like next week's stuff in advance for Global Comics.
Right.
Not that it's a lot, but I'm just like, ugh.
So I probably should do something to change our background or something so that it alerts people now that you've tied in your YouTube channel to here.
Oh.
Because if you're not going to be here all week next week, I'm going to have a whole bunch of people who are like, where is she?
No, I'll put yeah, you might want to just add like maybe like a little like bar or something on the bottom, be like, Cat won't be here this week, like Cat's at San Diego.
Yeah, that sounds like I could do it as, oh, you know what I could do? Like an overlay or something. Like, like this overlay, which is an overlay. I'm gonna remove that overlay.
And today I got to put my schedule together so that I know. So that I know what panels I'm going to go to, what booths I'm going to go to when. I'm hoping the creator of Vinland Saga is going to have a panel.
Oh, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
SAG-AFTRA went on strike.
Yeah, so we're not sure, like, if, like, how it'll affect the convention, or, like, to what extreme it will. But hey, it'll be mostly a comic con.
Right?
What I'm hoping is it'll be a comic con for once. I'm looking forward
I'm
to
the
it,
admiral?
though.
How did I become the admiral?
Admiral.
Like, who put me in charge?
Do you want to be?
I'm like, have you guys met yet? I don't know if you want me in charge.
I was gonna say, do you wanna? I'm really proud of myself, though. I've had almost no caffeine today. I've been under 100 the whole day.
Dang. That explains why you're so tired, though.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
I'm trying to make myself more sensitive to it leading up to San Diego, so that if I use it, it'll actually do good for me. It'll actually do something for me.
Right.
Because I'm used to 200 a day, like as my like average. I don't usually go above that, but I'm trying to like sensitize myself to it a little bit. And try to be sure like I sleep more. I don't think 2 hours going like back 2 hours will jet lag me that much though. It's 2 hours. My schedule's trash anyway. If anything, it'll actually make it normal because I'll actually go to bed earlier on time. If anything, it'll fix it.
All right.
Okay, I think that's all 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Flip switch.
Mm-hmm. Didn't we do this? We did this. We did all of these. Why are we having a problem with this?
My brain had to read that one twice. I'm looking at comic descriptions, and it's like, in the 800s, Justin the Eighth from the Land of Rose became blah blah blah, and I was like, wait, in the 800s or 1800s? Brain just went, what?
Oh no. So yeah. Brent. It was the. For some reason, Brent, your icon is really, really dark on dark blue. So I had to go, is that Brent? That's Brent. Okay. But yeah, no, they want me to upload them. And I'm like, I know I finished all of them. And now I just have to figure out why they aren't done. Like, where are the animations that I made?
Alright, where's my script? Do. I forgot where I put it.
Because I don't want to have to rebuild it. If I made them all, I don't want to have to rebuild them all. But I've got all the pieces parts together, so it shouldn't actually be hard to rebuild it. I just wanted to see which ones were still needing to be done. Because I thought we had them all done, and now I'm sitting here going, well, I guess we don't have them all done, which I thought they were, but no, hey, what do I know? Yeah, they're somewhere. I have a 6 terabyte drive.
Wow.
So sometimes things just get lost out there somewhere.
6 terabyte drive. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, it's something to do with the way that um my reader or my uh, so I have the chat added to OBS. It's something that Restream does is they offer you can take the link from the chat and add it as a piece to your OBS so that it'll be on OBS.
Mm-hmm.
Which has been my goal all along, is to have all of the show's materials on OBS so that I only use up one screen.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, the way up until I figured this all out, I had to have OBS on one screen, and then I had to have Restream on the other screen so I could let you guys into the show or run the opening credits or run the closing credits or whatever. But I figured out a way to make both of those sit on the here. The only problem we have is that, we have that same problem I was having the other night. But anyway, it's what I've been trying to do, is consolidate all of the pieces onto one screen. Well, the chat comes from Restream. That's something they offer a direct connection to. And so it comes in this color that's a dark blue, and Brent's icon from Twitch is purple, dark purple. So he's got this dark blue on dark purple going for him. I think I can change the appearance though. So let's see. All right. Colorized author names, so I can show that avatar. Viewer counter, compact mode. Doesn't give me really an option for color though, does it? I don't know. Yeah, so it doesn't give me a chance to change the colors. We also agreed we weren't going to do these. I applied for a job as a history and English teacher at a private school today. We'll see if that works. Who knows? I'll be streaming tomorrow. Yeah, but Brent, I will be late. No. I or dot do. No, I will be late because I've got to take the kiddo to camp, and I sign them in at 8:30, but the camp is on the other side of town. So by the time I sign them in and turn the car around and come all the way back up here, it takes about 45 minutes to get there and about 45 minutes to get back. So I've got to get there, and I this morning I think I started my show at like 9:20. That's probably going to be what it'll be tomorrow morning. Just so you know that that's what's going on. Yeah, camp's fine. Yep. In this instance, it's just far. I don't think I did the smog though, which doesn't make any sense, but that's okay.
Okay, I know roughly what I want.
No, you're doing better than most people.
Hmm?
You just say, I know.
Doing better what?
You said I know roughly what I want, and I'm like, well, you're doing better than most people.
Yeah. Usually what I do is I go in and I do like the, like what roughly do I want on each panel. I usually do that before I do any drawing. And I'm sure you remember yesterday I didn't do that, and it drove me absolutely fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I hated it. So I figured, well, at least let me like start it with like 1 or 2 panels and then just see where it goes. Trying not to be so stiff about it. Oof.
Yep.
That was loud. Sorry. It's caffeine and sugar free, by the way. So I'm not cheating.
Caffeine, sugar free? What?
Soda. That's what I was opening.
Oh. I'm not your dad, so
I'm just saying.
You can do whatever you want, man. You're drinking on the job. Hey, little Mango Art. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mango. Oh, what's up? Let's see. I'm gonna actually sort out these windows so I can actually see things. For some reason, it's not showing me the chat. Let me try again.
Oh, that's good. Amazingly, they didn't hit each other, even though they were jerks about it. Just saying.
Why are you not showing me the chat? There it goes. Yay, now we got it. Okay. For some reason, it kept asking me to reload. Now I got it. Hey, Mango, what's up?
If you resize the window for whatever reason, it really messes up the chat window.
I see that.
Yep. George is somewhere. Because of the idiots with their firecrackers, I'm not about to open my window. Ha ha ha. Yep.
So Mango, let me introduce you to everybody. We have, well, I guess it's just
me right now.
Yeah, for some reason I thought Brent wasn't here with us.
But I mean, like, we can do this and put the thing up, which shows all the people who usually are at Quack.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this, okay, you do your spiel. It's your thing.
Oh, I was gonna just say, yeah, I'm the one on the left there. I'm Guy. I do Bellatrix Rising. Usually we have Can here with us, who also does Armageddon Divinity. And of course, Kat does God's Bane. Every so often we have Raph here who does Pia, and Pepper is off and on as well. And though he's not running a comic, he does a lot of comic type art. So Kat is helping out on the stream because I'm the only one that runs the stream. And so if I ever have I'm sick or I need a day off or whatever, there's nobody else who can run the stream for me. So Kat has graciously decided to help. So in return, we're restream broadcasting to all of the streams with all of us. And you can join all of us or link in with all of us as well, so that you can see all of these things. Although I'm not sure what would happen if you went to all of the different places we're streaming and like subscribe to all of those things, would you just get like 6,000 messages all of a sudden when we broadcast? These are the things that make me go, wait a minute, that might not be so good. So
I have charisma. Well, thank you. I must have rolled a nat 20. No wine tonight, just confidence. I mean, I've got some wine sitting there in the fridge. I have to have it warm though. Like it's mead, and normally I'm good with mead. Like I like mead, but for whatever reason, I don't remember this particular mead being so strong, like alcohol-y. I don't remember it being that way. And so when I went to drink it cold, how I usually drink my mead, I was like, whoa, like my face would have like vanished into, like, I felt like I would have become an Ouroboros. It was so strong. Like I had no face left.
you were faceless.
I was faceless. The mead left me faceless. So I was like, okay, let me try warming it up instead, you know, having like a mulled mead. And then it was better. Like it was fine after I mulled it and got, you know, some of the alcohol off. But I was like, wow, I was not ready for this. I'm like, maybe I got the wrong one. Maybe I got the wrong mead maybe I was mistaken. Surely it's not me. It's the brewers who were wrong.
Clearly.
I was not prepared for it. It sure woke me up. That was over the weekend. I was really sad that I mean, thankfully it wasn't an expensive bottle, and I was able to make it like drinkable. But damn.
Oh no, yeah. I was going to run into each other. Kablamo.
Yeah, I generally prefer like mead warm in general, but I know there's a few meads out there that I also like cold or chilled. So I think I have one of them is Oliver's, which I believe is natively, which is a Colorado local brewery, if I remember correctly. Oliver's down in Boulder. I like their stuff cold. Yeah, but like more Nordic meads or like meads done in the Nordic style are definitely better warm. Nice. I mean, that's sad that they closed them, but that's really cool that there was a bar like that.
Oh, that's always a bummer.
It's hard to find bars that actually are like knowledgeable on mead. It's just not. It's becoming more popular, but it's hard like finding places. Like when I go in, I'm like, "Do you have any mead?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "You're a bartender who doesn't know what mead is?" It's literally the oldest alcoholic drink in the world, and you don't know what mead is? And you're a bartender? Like, I don't think that they need to be like encyclopedic knowledges of different alcoholic drinks, but I'm like, you don't even know the most basic drink there is. I'm saying that as someone who was a bartender.
Right? You did that job.
Yeah. Like, I made sure that I learned as many recipes as I could. I learned how to do some flair, a few tricks. Like, I went out of my way to make sure I could do a fun job. Oh, cool. Okay, so they were just probably really awesome people in general. Man, I don't know what I want to do with this page. Let me make it smaller so that I don't have to. So that I have to.
Oh yeah, that was.
Let's see.
Wait. I almost had
I'm
it
afraid of him.
because the guy's name is Red, and he was with. Oh, I almost had it. Abraxas, layer of Abraxas.
We'll do a set of 3 here. I might have to add a second set of pages. I've got 16 pages. I can add 1 extra. I've got 4 that I can play with.
See, the animation's all rigged. I had to have done this somewhere along the line. Like the little dude here in the driver's seat's doing a correct smog maneuver. Signal, near, over the shoulder, go. Every time I hang out with them, I end up with more dice. It is a really bad thing. I'm just saying. But they're also striking metal dice now, and I'm thinking I kind of need to get some of their metal dice. Yeah, see, he's doing a perfect smog maneuver. I'm not sure exactly what this animation's set up and correct. I feel like there has this. I mean, this is rigged. There's no reason for it to. Yeah, 2 sets of metal dice. There's no reason for this not to be working properly. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. Like, where did this animation wander off to? If I hit go on the animation, though, to render it again, it's going to totally end up... Well, I don't know. That's a question. Maybe if you hit go, it'll show you where it sent it to. Or not. Okay, there we go. That's why. Ah, that's not this thing. It gave me a path. Aha. This is blind intersection stuff. No. Oh yeah, here's blinking yellow taking control of the intersection. Yeah. Okay, see? This animation's complete.
Let's see. How did that, how's that commission going for you, Mango? I remember you were working on that. How's that going? Commission? Okay, yep. Same wavelength. I literally was just about to ask and you talked about it. Nice. Same wavelength. That's funny. Send help. That's a mood. I feel that. I need help too. I'm doing this, the paneling, and paneling is... Oh, I mean, I like sketching. I don't like having to figure out what's on the panels, though. I just want to know what they are, so I don't have to think about it. center is here.
Is it big? It is. Why is it so big? No, it's not big. That's what it says. I feel like we're just randomly talking, you and me. It's really funny.
Yep. Yeah, I was talking with Mango, who's coming in from my channel.
Hang on, I'll be right back.
Bingba. Yeah.
The light in the closet's starting to flicker. I think what's happening is when we first bought this house a long time ago, within the first year or so, I had a light bulb apocalypse. I went through and replaced every light bulb in this house with LEDs. And that brought the power consumption of this house down immensely.
I bet, yeah.
But I also ended up, and it all happened at about the same time, all of those things. So I think what's happening is we're hitting the end of the lifespan of a lot of those LEDs, because that would have been 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're all starting to die now, which means, because it's like I feel like every light bulb's dying in this place. But then I was like, yeah, but I mean, I really did replace all of them at almost the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, then they probably would all start dying at the same time, which would be really weird. Hi, John. What's up? How you doing? Just working on some sketches. Starting paneling for the next stuff. Power surges, yep, could be. Or aliens.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm hoping it's not power surges, because that means getting somebody to climb around upstairs.
Yeah. I'm not saying aliens, but aliens. Let's see. Finally able to work on something for some extended amount of time, at least longer than half an hour. Saw the cover you finished. Thank you. Thank yous. Yeah, I'll bring it. I did just a few minor adjustments, so I'll bring that up for you guys. Let's see. I did a few like teeny adjustments. Like moving around, like where the title was and where my name was, changing the fonts a tiny bit. Just moved just a few things around just to like help balance it out. So here's what I ended up with for like the final result. Let me throw in
Here, you know what? Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't you take the big screen for just a second while you're doing that, so that people can watch. Because I'm setting up animations, and though interesting, it's yep. So this is what I ended up with. I'm pretty happy with it. So I think it was pretty cool. Hopefully it feels balanced. I made the text a bit bigger, and then I changed the fonts to be the same as what's over on the other side. I still need to download the font that I chose for it. I don't have it already, so I need to go download it, or go purchase it. But I need to still edit the part over here, like the back cover, because the line art isn't quite the same, obviously. So I need to go in and adjust that, but I'll do that at a later date. So it's close enough for now. The main thing is that the front cover is done. That's kind of the main thing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I have a panel that I'll be doing at San Diego. And so what I'd like to do is I actually want to do a paneling, like talk about paneling, talk about the different types of panels, talk about like the komawari, and then things like the misegoma, hikigoma, makurigoma, Maskugoma always messes me up. Naname goma, like all of those different gomas.
and then talk about like sandangumi, yondangumi, you know, like those kinds of things. I want to talk about all of that at this panel because like apparently like the person like my co-panelist is really big and famous apparently, and then there's
As
me.
if that's not scary.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm like, well, this is a person who like has like he's a Taiwanese mangaka. Let me grab his name.
So you want to make sure you have all the words right.
Yeah, I have to make sure I say things right. I'm trying to make sure like my pronunciation is correct, you know, because you know like intonation matters with Japanese.
Yeah.
So I want to be sure.
They always
like,
say it's flat, but it isn't.
I've heard that's the safe default. Like that's what you should do as a default if you don't know what the intonation is, especially with words like hashi.
Yeah.
Where it matters.
Where it matters.
When I was in class, I had the worst time with the word
versus bridge.
No, the word for bank.
Ginkgo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ginko. Like, yeah, I have
there's an
like
oop, so you have to let it hold.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also the N. The N is its own syllable, and I keep wanting to do gin, not gin, like give it its own syllable. And so I remember there was this one lesson where I think we literally just practiced saying like gin ko for like 5 minutes, and it drove me up the wall. And she's like, "All right, let's clap it out," and I'm like, "No." But that's what I have to do. Like, for me to like learn the words properly, I have to do it again and again. And I found these really cool videos called shadowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's helped a lot, just to have like to practice being able to speak at a normal pace, because I can always slow the videos down to whatever pace I'm able to do. So
right,
yeah. But it's just nice to feel like I can have a general conversation.
Conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
yeah, like
I can't help myself.
Mm-hmm,
it's compulsive.
Let's see. His name is Chang Sheng. Chang Sheng. Here we go. He creates a series called Old. I don't know if it's Old Man or Old Man. I think it's Old Man. Maybe like that's what it looks like. I mean, they look like they're two different words, but it's like all in one word. Like I personally don't know a lot about him, but it seems like he's really well known, and he's got like a nice big social media following, and his art is really nice. Me.
Yeah, I just remember when I finally realized what was going on was like the train announcers.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So they would say things, and I'd be like, "Oh, I get it."
Mm-hmm.
And like I'd finally understand kind of what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that when I listen to TV and radio, like people who have to like speak like that for a living, they are the most easiest. They're the most easiest. Great English cat. They are the easiest to understand.
Yeah, but like the train person or the automated voice would say, like, Eki wa Akihabara, like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was all like staggered out like that. And I was like, oh, I see. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason I could understand that. Mm-hmm. Because like I had a real problem with Asakusa.
Oh,
which is a saksa. That's the way they'll say it. They'll smush those together. So it becomes a saksa. And that's a burrow. It's like, he's got it like screwed up. And every time I was like, I don't know where the heck I'm going.
Mm-hmm. There's a song that I like, and I forget what the word is. There's a phrase, and I think it's in the second verse of the song, And when I listen to it, like I know what the words actually are, but when I listen to it, it sounds like they just smashed 5 words together in like 2 words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how does that equal that? It doesn't make any sense to me. But the song is Shinjitsu no Uta. It's a Inuyasha ending theme, and I really like that song. It's really pretty. Same thing with the Fukai Mori ending, which is the second ending. Both of them are by Do As Infinity. And so like,
oh, I love Do It Infinity.
Yeah, they're great. If I could like find like one band to go to a concert to that wasn't like an English band, that's the one that I would pick. Domo arigato, Mr. Robot. Yeah, I remember
What was the
that
name
one.
of what was the song you were just talking about? The first one?
Shinjitsu no Uta.
Oh,
See, I can't even say it right. Shinjitsu no Uta. Shinjitsu no Uta. Yeah.
Shinjitsu no
Shinjitsu no
Uta.
Uta.
Mhm.
Uta. Shinjitsu no Uta.
Uta.
Yeah, those. Yep. Mango gets it. Those are good endings. And then the other one that I really liked is "Come" by Namie Amuro.
Amuro Namie. Yeah.
Amuro Namie. Yeah.
I've been following her for a long time, since she was with the Super Monkeys. Most of
and then
thought the name Super Monkeys was awesome. And then
My Will is good too.
My Will is very good.
That's like, yeah, that's a great one. It's a good one.
Yep. These are old McGoldie bands.
And then we can't forget the classic Every Heart by Hamasaki Ayumi.
Yes. So my adopted kiddo, right? So the not adopted really, but like she comes over here from time to time and hangs with us. And every so often she just has these super wild zingers, right? Because we've been teaching her English since she was 2, right? So we're family to her. As far as she's concerned, we're just family. You know, she doesn't even think twice about it. So I'm like driving along one day and I'm listening to my music set and Hamasaki Ayumi comes on and she's like, this sounds so old, like really old music.
Oh my gosh, when Hamasaki is considered old.
And I was so sad.
that my heart.
Yeah, right. Well, and that's the other thing is like Amuro Namie. I started following her when she was a Super Monkeys, and she was like 14, right? She just retired like 3 years ago after like a 25-year career, and I'm like sitting there going, I don't even want to handle this, right? Because like when I first started listening to the Super Monkeys, she was freaking 14. And she's now like whatever 35 or 40 or something, and I'm like, oh god.
Do you remember V6?
Yeah, V6. Yes.
Boa too.
V6 did openings for Ranma. I mean, like.
Inuyasha too changed the world.
Yep, changed the world. For Inuyasha.
I can never remember all the words to that one. That one escapes me. What was the other one? Like my favorite opener.
Yeah, and Namie sang one of the One Piece openings. That's one of the last things she did before she retired.
Oh yeah,
She walked away. I mean, I was actually pretty proud of her. I was like, good for you, because Avex Trax really wanted to keep her in, and she wasn't going to do it. And I'm like, yeah. Because like Namie is kind of like the Madonna of this culture. Like,
really, I didn't realize she was of like that caliber.
Well, and I mean, like all kinds of things. She has a grandfather that's American. One of her grandparents is American, and so there was this huge scandal about her not being all Japanese, and like, she just told them to jump off a cliff.
Is that whole like and I don't know if this is a derogatory term, so excuse me, like that hafu thing?
Yeah. Like, except she's not. She's technically a quarter, but yeah. So, but there is a group of people in Japan who are really big about purity and keeping the bloodlines pure, and it's like to a really dramatic and somewhat terrifying extreme.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who she's half Japanese, but she spent like most of her life in the States. And people like Japanese people treat her like crap sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's awful. And I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, because she doesn't really feel like she belongs anywhere.
Yeah, well,
sometimes.
Even though we are rough on people, at least once you find your folks and you're safe with those folks, you're pretty safe.
Yeah.
That said, like I said, this particular family that I have been attached to this whole time, I was just talking to the dad, and the dad was going on and on about medications and problems in the family and some psychological issues between like various family members. And I'm like, we are really embedded in this family. I mean, this is like a random Japanese family. With not random. I mean, obviously these are people we met while we were there.
Well, that's stuff they don't share with
Exactly.
people they consider outside the family.
Exactly. You don't share this stuff. And here he's talking about all these medications and all this stuff and all the all these things that he's been going through with the kid, with the wife, with the family, with everybody. And it's like, dude. Like,
it's like, wow, thanks for feeling comfortable with
right?
with
I'm
me.
like, clearly,
I'm honored.
Family, so it's like,
yeah. I had a moment where somebody used Chan with me, and I went, what? What, Chan? Cat Chan? I'm like, oh, what?
I go for that.
I was just, because I'm used to hearing, like, Kata-san. I'm like, hi. And all of a sudden I heard, Kata-chan. Eh?
Right?
Atashi?
Did you just catch on me?
Oh, no, I was like, what?
Yeah. I get that.
I was not expecting the Chan. And I'm like, are we friends now?
Because I've never been called that except by my wife, obviously. But yeah, that's kind of interesting because it is. It's kind of like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's like a marker of like, oh, are we friends now? So it just made me excited.
Nobody ever called me that because, of course, I was sensei when I was there, and you don't call senseis ever by that friendly name. I had one girl in my 7th grade class try to pull it off, and the Japanese teacher jumped down her throat for it.
Oof.
Which was
because
it was she was being cute. I think she had a crush on me or something, but it was very because she was trying to be adorable and cute. And I think the teacher misunderstood that as abusing the fact that I'm a foreigner.
Oh, I see.
So the teacher just gave her the what for it, and just like laid her out. It was really, I mean, I was like, oh, and I was just like, don't do that. She's so sweet.
Yeah, this was like a group of manga artists, and we all kind of hang out and work out together. And like some of them speak Japanese. And so every once in a while, they'll just sit there and they'll just like have whole conversations in Japanese. I'm just kind of sitting there vibing, and then every once in a while, I'll hear my name, and I'm like, huh? Hi. Nanda.
Nanda. Yep.
And it's funny because I didn't realize this, but when I do speak Japanese, and my Japanese is not very good, but when I do speak it, they're like, Kat, you become so mellow when you speak Japanese. Like when you're speaking English, you're like really hyper and loud, and then you speak Japanese and you're like a whole different person. It's like you're scared to talk. I'm like, well, one, I am. And two, I know I have to like watch the energy level. It's just funny because I didn't really notice it that much, but they definitely had noticed it. And they were like, "Are you doing that on purpose?" And that's why they asked. I'm like, "No."
Right.
I'm like, I have to think twice as hard when I'm speaking in a different language.
That was it.
I'm like, I've got 2 brain cells, and they're both having to work overtime when I do this.
Really hard at this. So, yeah, there's a lot of things I never really noticed, but like when Osco's over here, the girl, we were at the airport, and you know, had the automated lady that said, you know, please insert your parking ticket. Thank you and have a nice day. And then she just said in Japanese, she said, her voice is so low. And I was like, what? And then she switched to English and she said, I have to change my voice tone every time I speak in English because as a Japanese person, and then she switched back to Japanese, I have to speak all up in this high register. And I was like, why are you doing that? Because, of course, she usually speaks English when she's here. She's trying to practice. That's the whole point. So I had never really noticed her swapping back and forth between 2 different tone groups. And she said women who speak with a low voice aren't taken seriously. And I'm like, that's funny. Because here in America, women that are speaking with a high voice aren't typically taken seriously.
Yeah. That's what I've noticed. It's like the opposite.
Right.
Like I have to
you have to raise your voice up to be taken considered seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to. I don't want to say like you have to like be feminine because that's not the phrase I'm looking for. But like you have to like being feminine isn't the thing I'm looking for, but almost feels like you have to be more submissive sometimes.
Submissive. You definitely have to be more submissive. So
I'm not that type. I am not that type.
My wife had a student who was born in Japan. Then the dad was transferred to Louisiana, and she stayed in Louisiana from like when she was 6 months old until she was about 6.5 or 7. And then she moved back to Japan and was in the Japanese school system. And so they hired, right. Well, and that's the thing. It's like what Oscar was saying to me was that that's just expectation. And she has a hard time raising her voice because her voice is naturally deeper. And she said she used to get bullied for that at school. And so she'd been working really hard to raise her voice up. Anyway, the interesting thing was that, what was I saying? Oh yeah, this girl that Mariah worked with was so fascinating because she'd come over for her lessons, and her lessons were simply just talk to Mariah for a while because they just didn't want her to lose the English because she had natural American English. And it was so wild watching her. She'd walk in and at this time, she's like 14, right? So she's been in Japan for a while, and she'd walk in and she'd be like, hey, how you doing? And and then she'd like slump down in the chair and she'd be like, I was reading this book and this book was about this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, but the first time I met her, I was like, she's an American. She's not Japanese. She's American. And then her phone rings and it's her dad. And she picks up the phone, and as soon as she hears his voice, her back straightens up. And her voice changes pitch. She goes into Japanese, and it's, hi, wakarimashita, wakarimashita, hi, tsugino, hi, it was like,
yeah.
And then she hangs up and she slouches back down. So I was reading this book. It was night and day. It was so wild watching. Her body language changed everything.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Same thing happened to me in Spanish class, yeah. Like I could feel like the physical, like not that extreme.
Right.
But I felt like I had to like act different to like when I was speaking in my Spanish classes. But I think anytime you're speaking another language that's not your own, you'll change. But that's fascinating. I would have been, you know what? Now that I think about it, I've noticed that with my friends who speak other languages. Now that I think about it.
It all depends. I think it all depends because I
Mhm.
actually worked really hard to not change when I switched to
Really?
Japanese because the kids liked me being a funny, fluffy teacher, and I was kind of silly and I was kind of wild and stuff like that. And they would
Yeah.
take advantage by not, they would talk to each other in Japanese and
Mhm.
assume that I couldn't understand them.
Oh.
And so I liked to keep my demeanor exactly the same and
To keep them off guard.
yeah,
Yeah.
to keep them off guard. So I'd be like, repeat after me, that the glass is full, and then they'd be like, the glass is full. And they start saying something and I'd say, wakarimashita. And I'd be like,
You just be like, "What kind of
I got it.
and they'd
I
be like,
understood that. And then they're like, "Ah." And I'm like, and I'd be, and I mean, I would be really, I'd just sit there and smile and go, moto tene, watashi wa sensei dakara. I'm like, you have to be more polite. I'm a teacher. You can't just sit there and like,
watch them like sink in their seats.
it's like really funny because like they would be like, you still have to be
Like, oh no, we made a teacher upset.
Right? Well, the funniest part about it is they would use rude language with me often, and I'd say moto tene, like bring it back up,
right? Is that because of like the whole like, oh, he's American gaijin thing? We can talk rude to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they didn't think that I knew the difference. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, the legitimate thing was I was in a Kyudo dojo. And since I was learning Kyudo, that's one of the most rigid Japanese performance martial arts that there is. Like, it's extremely, it's full of Japanese culture, and you have to do everything perfectly, and you have to, you're exuding Yamato Damashi. You're exuding the spirit of Japan when by that threw my sensei once because he was trying to explain to me how the inner soul of Kyudo one night, and I said Yamato Damashi, and he went, "You understand Yamato Damashi?" Yes, and he's like, "Really? Tell me all about it." And I'm like, "Well, let's see. We'll start with Musashi." He's like, "Okay, you got it. Never mind. Haul out Miyamoto Musashi, and you know what you're talking about." But it was one of those things. Yeah, since I was in that dojo, I was already learning all of the, you have to be more respectful here. You have to be more polite. Upgrade your language to this, to this level. Don't talk to your sensei like this. I had already gone through all of that real early on, to hold the decorum in the dojo. And so it didn't take long for my kids to realize that I was slinging the same things at them. You have to be respectful. You have to, it was kind of, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I had a set of kids that always liked to push. And then I had the kids that were like always yelling at the kids who were always pushing. That was the other sign, Oh, Mango, you mean your intonations are? I mean, what do you mean? In English, your intonations are off, or in Japanese, your intonations are off. Okay, I think I've got this thing figured out. Let's see if you run right. English. Oh yeah, any language. Like all of them. Harder if you're trying to learn Mandarin. Intonations being off in Mandarin's brutal. Japanese. So I think that's why Japanese often say there are no intonations in Japanese, is because compared to Chinese, it doesn't have any intonations. If you compare it to Chinese, which, there's literally a sentence that's like ma, 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 and it's like, does your mother love the horse or something like that? And it's all about the intonation and whether you went up with ma or down with ma, or whether you were over with Ma. You know, like all of these things. It's just really funny. So anyway, sorry, I'm rambling now. I don't know. What are these? Parking spaces. Why do I have off-tracking parking spaces? Oh, because off-tracking is parking spaces. We should replace these and move them backwards. Move this to here. This to here. Says me being a teacher. I'm doing my teacher stuff. I feel like I've killed the discussion.
How do you say "Calgon take me away" in Japanese? Why?
Oh, thank you. I was just like, I feel like this covers you. No, actually, you know what? If you are drawing and doing work, we're doing our job.
Yeah. This is a body doubling
That's
session.
what this is all about. Have you explained body doubling?
I don't think I have yet. I don't think I've explained it yet.
So those of us that are neurodivergent with ADD or autism spectrum, those of us that do that, we have this interesting like thing, which is if somebody else is working and you're sitting next to them, you're compelled to work and you're compelled to stay on task, and it's really strange. So like that's something that we do now. It's called body doubling. The other person doesn't need to do anything. Just do their work. It's like, I don't like to clean the house if anybody else is sitting around. But as soon as everybody's cleaning the house, we all just clean the house as one big group. We just kind of go around and clean the house. You know what I mean? And it's so wild. So this whole stream, that's the whole point, is we're doing work. You can sit there and do work with us, chat every so often or whatever. Oh, yeah. The tierra with that roll.
Yeah, I can't do double R's either.
Yeah.
I studied Spanish for 8 years and I never learned how to roll my R's.
Yeah. I took Spanish when I was 2. So I ended up rolling my R's really quickly early on. It imprinted. So
my teacher tried so hard. I had the same Spanish teacher for a while, and she, no matter how hard she tried, I never was able to learn how to roll my R's. Which is sad because it's a very, like, the way you roll your R's is very similar to how you pronounce the R, T, D sound in Japanese anyway, and L. Like, they're all very similar sounds. And so I struggle with that as well.
Who are you targeting that to, Donald? I still do. I will happily do that. Are you asking for Kat? Because I think Kat does commissions. I don't know.
Not anymore.
Oh, Kat doesn't do commissions, so you only chances with me here, man.
Yeah, I don't do commissions anymore.
Calgon, take me away. I've been thinking about that one.
Yeah, he means you.
Oh, okay. Calgon, take me away. Yeah, I'm open for commissions, my friend. Don't worry.
I stopped doing commissions.
Would that
so I can
be
focus on comic.
Calgon? watashi ni totte saseru? I mean, like making that verb decide to take you away? I'm kind of curious. Does that sound right to you? Totte saseru? Isn't saseru the invective that the converting it over so that it's, it does a thing? I don't know. There's a specific thing for it. Anyway, congratulations. We've received 100 messages today with chat.
Yay.
I usually charge between 100 and 150. I'm trying to convert to 150 now as we approach, because everything's getting so much more expensive. But it depends on what you're asking for. Like, I just recently did a commission that looks like this. And I'll make this even again. This is the commission I just recently did, and this was a 150. So that would be like, with this level of detail and kind of going in and doing all of this sort of setup like that, that's 150.
When I did commissions, let me show you an example. I have like a full color one here somewhere. Let's see. I'll just show you. It wasn't a commission, but I can show you like a sample what I used to do.
And this piece I'd probably do for, depending on how complicated it is, this would probably be also 150 because it's just flat shaded and not like hard shaded. If they wanted more of a realistic style, I'd go for 200 or a donkey and a shark, land shark. Gotcha. A friend of mine is doing an Expanse game, and so this is my character man, Scrapper. He's a pilot.
So when I did character illustrations like this that were full colored, they were $150 to $200, depending on like how detailed the background you wanted, which I feel like is pretty cheap considering how long they took me back then.
Yeah.
So that was about 150, and I did those pretty often. And then if I had something that had a background, I like usually like a character and a background like this. These were upwards of like 300 plus.
Yeah, this is a 200 plus right here.
Mm-hmm.
But that 200 plus, that took me 15 hours. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, It's not like you're paying for real work. There's a lot of work on that one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like this was a personal piece, but like I used it as examples for like what I could do with backgrounds and stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was this type of commission that I ended up doing the most. And then I also had I had a commission style that was very similar to the game Okami, where I would like replicate characters in that kind of style. And that was like $80 each because they were, pretty simplified. Yeah, like one page, I'll show you like a finished page because I don't know if you've seen my finished pages of God's Bane. Let's see, I'll show you some like old finished pages.
And also, Jung, just so you know, we've actually had on Quack, we've had long discussions, and you could probably find it back there on the archives if you friend, like the other pages, other artists. But we've had discussions about this where it's gone back and forth, and the artists have all been arguing over whether we should be charging that much and whether it should be. And the answer really is yes, you should, because especially something like that Ivy piece is, it's 15 hours of work, hard work, Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was
No, you're good. I'm waiting for my file to open. You're good.
not sure what to think about that, but okay.
Yeah, if I was just sitting here, because I wanted to show like how long like pages take. Like I have people that will balk at me. That will be like, "How dare you even ask like $200 to $150 a page for manga?" When like a spread like this, like a full detailed spread, easily takes me like 16 hours, easy.
Right.
You know, like 15 to 20 hours on average for a spread like this. You know, like look at all the freaking detail that I have in here.
Right. You're
like,
an insanely detailed person.
Like I don't mess around when I do like my details and stuff. Like I'll like yeah, sure, like the screen tones are a little sloppy, but that's because you're not gonna notice that stuff.
Right.
You're not gonna notice that. Like it's a like the other thing is I forgot to shade this little thing here. Like I forgot to add his shadow. But you know, like this stuff takes a really long time. You know, and so if I do like a manga commission, like even just black and white at this level of tone, it's like $150 to $200 a page. And I've had comic artists that wanted to like commission me to work for them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I would never pay like $150 for like something in black and white." And I'm like, "Okay, F you, go away then." That's a cheap price, son. That's the discount price for a per page for a chapter.
It really is.
Like,
well, and I think that's part of it. We've always sort of had to stand down from things and like, oh yeah, back off a little bit, and you know what I mean. And it's like, well, yeah, but at the same time, you know, we've got to think. We can't just not charge properly. You know, it's like. We can't just do that. That's not that's not viable.
The way that I look at it is I charge what I want, because eventually I will get someone that wants to pay me that price, and that will be worth like that'll be worth a ton. Though having fewer higher price commissions balances out having a lot of really shitty price commissions.
Right.
Like, and then when you do get to have that, then you do like you get that affirmation of people do actually want to pay my price. I had someone who paid me for a 8 foot by 12 foot manga page to put in their freaking cafe, and like the final panel is life size.
Holy crap! Hey, Neon,
have you not seen it? I haven't shown that to you yet.
8 foot. Damn.
Yeah, it's in Izakaya.
Oh, hey, I want to real quickly while we're talking about things. Oh, Donald, you are a buddy. We'll figure it out. I'm not that worried. I'm talking about just the random people who walk up and want stuff. So hey, check this out. I got the one. I got the one that we were talking about. I got the pen.
You did? Have you tried it?
I haven't even opened it yet.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
Yeah, but I got. I totally got the pen, and the reason I say that is because I've been thinking about printing my pages as blue line, and then re-inking them, or using my light beds and just taping everything down and then re-inking it, so that there are master pages of my comic that are unique and one of a kind. You know what I mean? So that I could say, hey, here's a full page comic, or here's a full page of the comic, and I had inked it manually with the actual pen that you recommended. So
yeah, so like check this out. So I was commissioned to do this like giant enormous manga page, and I made it so that it would be roughly like life size. They ended up printing it out a little smaller than I'd made it, so it's not 100% life size, but it's pretty close to the point where they can park their motorcycle like right next to it, and people take photos there all the time. Yeah, it's really, really cool.
It's so awesome.
Let me get the one where they have the neon lights on and stuff. It's really cool. Where is it? Where's the one where they have like the neon lights?
I'm just really amazed that it's like 4 foot or 8 foot by whatever. It's insane. It's
massive,
to me.
Yeah, it's massive.
So insane.
I want to redraw it for them, because as you can see, it's not totally sealed to the wall because I've gained a lot more skills now. So like I want to redraw it for them, just like because I mean I can use the same files. I just want to maybe change a little bit of the panels and actually draw a few of them a little bit better and pick the right kana now that I know the difference. So here's the one with all the cafe, they'll have these like purple neon lights on sometimes.
Wow.
Like inside the shop, and it looks so cool. Yeah, so you can actually see like the full thing here. And then they actually did a article about it, and guess what they used for the image? Like with my little like art in the back.
Oh, there you go. That's kind of cool.
Yep. With the
That is so cool.
Yeah, I actually I've been to the shop before, like in person to look at it, but it was closed at the time. Because it was COVID, so I couldn't go in, but I really want to go in and like get my photo with it, yeah. Because I'm short enough that I could stand next to it and probably be the proper height. I'm like 5'3" on a good day, so like I'm the perfect height for it. And I've had people that have reached out to me and be like, "Hey, I saw your work at the Molto Neko Cafe," and I just wanted to say like it was really cool, it was really awesome. Here's I'll drop a link where the cafe is, or their Instagram account. It's in Sarasota, Florida, which is actually where I went to school.
Oh, okay.
In Sarasota, yeah. And that's actually so funny story how I actually got the job. So here's the link. So how I got that job was when I was in art school. There's a bar near the college that I went to, and this guy just sat next to me and we started talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd really like to have like a pub, izakaya kind of thing, or bar or whatever. And I really like your artwork. Like if I ever want to have it, like if I ever do this, like can I commission you for some stuff on, you know, like some artwork?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, okay." I'm thinking, oh, it'll never happen. And then 5 years later, I get a DM, "Hey, you want to still do this?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." So yeah, just something that I don't want to say I never thought would come to be, but I get so many like job offers like that, and so few like follow up with me. And so to see this and to see how happy he was and how much everyone loves it, I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." So it's like one of my like favorite things that I've ever done.
Right.
And what's really sad is the school never recognized it.
Yeah.
Even though they're just a few blocks away.
Right.
Never recognized it. I wonder why. Yeah, they used it a lot for promotion, and he paid me really handsomely for it too. Like when I gave him how much I wanted for it, he's like, "Fuck no," and he doubled it.
Oh.
He's like, "No, you're getting this much."
That's so cool.
Yeah, so he's a really nice guy.
I love when that happens, like, because I undersell myself, and people know that. And it's like, the problem, of course, is that, you know, I still have mouths to feed and stuff. Jung, for your benefit, I had a couple of these I made up at one point in time, which sort of did a breakdown of how to look at it. So, like, you know, it's 25 if you just wanted a headshot or a bust, you know, in pencil, and the full body would be 75. And then for inks, it's 35 and 100. And then for watercolor or colors or whatever, I charge 50 for a head, and then 150 for the full body. So that just as a side note, because I knew I had one of these. I had seen another artist do this, and I happened in this particular piece, I happened to have all three versions of her, where I had the pencils, the inks, and the full colors. So I showed that. Anyway, that was a thing I was just thinking about too, because I know that. And then I had an online version of this too, and I'm not sure whether that changes anything or not. Oh yeah, online doesn't have pencils, so I changed the type to just black and white or color. So anyway, there you go. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm trying to get my stuff done. So
Some people really just want the pencils. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I have people that love ordering sketches.
Yeah.
Like that's all they order from me. They never order anything finished because they just like sketches.
Yeah. That was
I
the
have people
wildest
like that.
thing. I was at Mile High Comics, and we were doing a thing where we were all sitting at tables. It was a Red Team Go thing.
Oh yeah.
And we were doing them. We were all sitting at the tables, and this guy came over to me and said, I want to commission you for a sketch of this character from Alpha Flight. And I didn't ever even heard of it. I had to go look it up on my phone because I didn't even know who the character was. And so I did, and I actually really liked that piece. It was a good piece. And he was totally happy with it. Paid $50 right there for just the pencil sketch that I did sitting at the table. You know, he came back like an hour later and I'd finished it up. And I was like, do you want me to go to inks? And he's like, nope, I'll take that one right there, $50. And I was like, okay.
Myrrh. That's such a mood, that myrrh.
Right? I'm like,
Yeah.
well, that's a thing. And I was just so excited. I was like, well, that works. So. I think the biggest problem is people will everybody has to save their ducats. And so even though people aren't like bad people, they still try to save their money. And so
Yeah.
they'll if you say I'm going to sell this full piece of art that I worked 1 billion hours on and everything like that for $5, then they'll go, okay. You know, unless you happen to run into somebody who's got money, right? If they've got money to spare, which not a lot of us do, we're all kind of running really, really low.
Yeah.
How many sketches do I do of my page before inking? This is a good question to ask, Neon, because the answer from Kat is going to be completely different than me.
Yeah, it's probably maybe that's why they're asking.
Well, no, I mean, because like for me, I don't sketch anymore. I use the maquettes to place, and my maquettes are designed by me, so they're already set up to be the characters. But I can pretty much go straight from the maquettes to an ink without a sketch in the middle. I used this last one that I just did with this character. Not that one.
And that's the smart way to that's a really efficient way to work.
It works it's really fast, but there's a lot of people who feel like that's cheating. Like that's
fuck those guys.
Excuse
my language.
No, I can. Well, and that's why every so often I'll do a picture without using maquettes just to make sure I still can. But like this piece here, I used one of the maquettes that comes with Clip Studio Paint. So this one required an underdrawing because the maquettes in Clip Studio don't have any detail on them. My maquettes out of Daz Studio have all of the uniform pieces and all of that stuff on it so that I can get the uniform correct. So for me, I don't sketch the page. I just do a rough drawing. And then in my roughs, you've already seen those. So. Now, Kat has a different answer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For me, it depends on how long it takes me to get it to look the way that I want it to. If I have to spend more than like an hour sketching a page, that's too long. So usually I'll be like, you know what, this is enough. Like, I'm done. This is stupid. Like, I'm gonna go get like a maquette, or I'll go get like a reference.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll go find another panel that has roughly the angle that I want. Usually 3D models do it fine. But what I do is I also script it before I sketch it. Right. So I don't go straight from, oh, I have this rough idea in my head, let me try to draw it out now, to straight pen paper. Like, I don't do that.
Right.
I have like, actually I will show you. I have a redonkulous way of scripting that probably would scare a lot of people. Why do you, I've heard mostly from people, why do you make it so unnecessarily complicated? And it's not unnecessarily complicated because not all brains work the same way.
Right.
Some people, me being one of them, needs to like script stuff out like before I draw it. Like, because I don't trust myself to remember everything. Because I know I can't remember everything. That's not the way my brain
Right.
works.
Well, and that's where that's what prompted me to start doing maquettes in the first place. Is it would drive me crazy to go back through my comics, you know, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, and realize that I had put the wrong icon on the character. Everything I do is military science fiction, so the uniforms have to have all the right bits and pieces on them always correctly, and that would make me so mad. And so I had to do something about that. Yeah, well, and Donald's like, I have my proven method, and it's true. I mean, this page took an hour from dead stop, blank page to this in 1 hour.
Which is amazing.
I'm at a point where I can do a page an hour if I use the maquettes. If I don't use the maquettes, it takes 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make this
well, Can's not an actual human being.
Yeah, Can isn't like us mortals.
No, he's not immortal.
So I have a really before I even start drawing, this is how I sort things out. So I'm just making this so you guys can see everything. I mean, so you get because I want this to be clear and understood, because this is the extreme that I go to. It's kind of sad, honestly. Like, sometimes I feel really embarrassed that I do this, because it's like, why do I have to do this to be able to function as a writer? But I hope that it helps maybe other people figure it out. So this is one page, and then you'll notice all of these. Oh, you guys can't see it. I just realized I have to change my window. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Let me change my window.
I'm like trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, I forgot you guys can't see it. Okay, so welcome to my hell that is Google Sheets. So essentially let's see, do I have one that has all of it in it? No, I don't. Okay. So essentially what I have here is I have a combination of Kishotenketsu and the Harmon embryo cycle, which the Harmon is a 8-stage cycle. And then Kishotenketsu is a 4-part cycle. So essentially I have 2 parts, which, this is one, that's one, that's one. I just had to use, different rows here. Each one of these individual rows is a volume. Like, this is 4 chapters, this is 4, this is a volume. This is a volume, this is a volume. A volume is 8 chapters, basically. But I did this to split this up so that I have like my 4-part act here, my 8-part act here, and then it breaks down even more. This is level 1. Let me show you a thing. Let me actually zoom in and make this very easy to read. So here's the 1-part Kishotenketsu, right? The intro, part number 1. Part number 1 of Kishotenketsu breaks down into part 1 and 2 of the Harmon cycle. Well, guess what? That whole Kishotenketsu also gets broken down into 8 parts. And then each of the one, it's basically a nesting doll of Harmon cycles, basically. It's a nesting doll. And what's crazy is mathematically, it works out perfectly, because I have 8 chapters per volume, and then I have 8 volumes, so I have 64 total chapters. It basically makes it so that I know exactly what part of the cycle has to happen in every single chapter. I know exactly what has to happen in every single chapter, and it makes like writing super fast, super easy. I don't have any doubts on like what needs to go here. And what's really cool is, guess what? Manga chapters on average have how many pages? 16, divisible by 8. So that means every 2 pages is 1 part of the Harmon cycle, and every 4 pages is 1 part of Kishotenketsu. So not only does your chapter break down by the Harmon cycle perfectly, it breaks it down by the Kishotenketsu cycle perfectly. What you're supposed to do when you're writing manga, you're supposed to be using Kishotenketsu. in the traditional way of writing manga. So like it just works out perfectly. It's the perfect blend of Eastern and Western writing styles. And for me that helps. So what I do is you know, each, so this is all chapter 1. Like here, I'll highlight this really quick. Like this is all chapter 1, all of this stuff here. So chapter 1 is broken down. Each one of these is a page. I can write out a whole chapter super easy. I know exactly what's supposed to go on each page, and I can move on to the next one. I haven't started it yet, but I have all my summaries in. I know exactly what all the goals I have to accomplish are in each one of these. It literally took me like 45 minutes to put all of this together. Like all like what I have of chapter 1 and the summaries for the others, it took me 45 minutes to put it all together. And it's going to be, and I already have my script basically written on a different thing here. So right here, I have my script written. So like, I already have my script written for like the first 2 volumes. I just have to import it into my sheets. You know, so it's a really efficient way of structuring your story, so that it's super easy to write. Super easy to write.
Barely an inconvenience. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just.
No, it's true.
No,
you know, so like then I have like later parts.
I'm being silly.
Oh, I see. No, you're fine. Yeah, it's like well, I hate writing. I rather draw. So if I create a really organized, like all of this here is stuff that I still have to sort out into the later chapters and stuff. But what's really nice is I have macro views and micro views. When I'm looking down here, down to the individual page, like this is a micro view. But if I want to see my manga like at a glance and I want to see like the rough idea, all I have to do is come to this page and you say, hey, what happens in volume blah, blah, blah. Boom, I know exactly what happens. I will know at any given point what's supposed to be happening in my manga. At any given point.
Right.
It makes it... Now, unfortunately, the problem is it can make it predictable. But that's why you become a really smart creator and you don't make it predictable. You throw in wrenches there every once in a while. And what's fun is I don't have a typical story format because I have a murder mystery.
Right.
So that means that I get to mess with the traditional way of storytelling.
Right. So I will swap with you and I'll explain mine real quick.
Go for it.
And then I'm like completely different. And I've gotten even more different as time has gone on. Just like Kat, it's very important for me to be fixed to a cycle. And so when you look at manga is generally done in 15 pages with a splash. And that makes it really convenient for US novels or US comics because they're usually 32, which is 2 16s. So you just get 2 15-page sets with 2 splash pages and you are set. So I have, this is my layout. I used to write a script in text and I don't do that anymore. It was not helping me. And so what I do now is I literally have it first in this overview. The darker the color, the more the intensity of the scene. So it's very intense here, it's very intense here, and it's very intense here. This red part right here is usually where the lowest part of the story is. So there's a classic style of 3 peaks and 1 valley, which is classic to manga storytelling. And so I'm just trying to kind of give myself the rough outline feel of what I need to do in that area. But then what I'll do is I will just literally go in here and I'll just start writing on the page. As I'll set up first an overarching, I think these 4 will be in, 2 characters talking together in this place. This is another set of something else happening, yada, 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 yada. And then once I've set them all up, I just go in and then write in the scenes. And what you see up above it is the things that were on this page before I wrote in the actual script. So I'd write this on this page, and that'd be the note that I wanted to remember for page 17. And then whenever I go to write page 17, I would zoom in, select this, move it up into this blue area above, and then actually write the dialogue and put in the frames. Once that's done, I literally just take this page right here, and I copy it to the actual page in the comic, the CMC file. And it's like totally different than the way Kat does it. Like
Yeah.
for me, this is
It's interesting,
completely
though.
visual, and it stays visual the entire time. I found out for me, when I wrote a script, I ended up with extra pages. I ended up having to delete things. I ended up having to pull parts of the story out because I wrote too much or I wrote too little, or you know what I mean? And it would never balance
Yeah.
out right, and the rhythm would never hit correctly. By the way, Kat, our newest version of this, because KM likes these too. Our newest version of this now reads with this. We added this in here where, that looks exactly like the other one. Never mind. Hang on. I got a new version that I just made.
You're good. You're good.
So,
Take your time.
so yeah. Hang on real quick there. Find that new version. So I think I put it. Where did I put it? Oh, I must put it in that one. Where did I put it?
My eraser's so tiny.
Oh, there. Oh, yeah. Here's the story flowchart that he was talking about. So he was saying it should peak like this right here, and then come to normal again. Like this, and then drop to the minimum point of the story.
I didn't even think to draw out how my stuff works.
Right.
Genius.
So like this is the arc that it should roll. That's what this I was studying this animator who was out of Hawaii for a while, and he lets us join his little Facebook group, and I asked to join, and of course you had to be qualified by are you doing a comic? You couldn't just join this thing if you weren't actually working on a comic. So the only people who were in this Facebook group were actual people who were putting pen to paper. And that was kind of cool because then I didn't get like random weird crap. And he just talked about the same thing you're learning, Kat, like all of the standard operations of manga, you know? But I think it's interesting that the three peaks are more intense. Each one's more intense. So
yeah, the last one is Yama.
Right? Not as intense as that one. Anyway, I wanted to show you the new thing. I just talked about this. I just somehow keep getting sidetracked because we're just, we keep doing things. There it is and stuff. I don't think that's it. Maybe it is. No, it's not. Where did it go? See, I joined these together because I wanted to clean it up and join it together. So I'm looking for it now. Because it was a cool rig and setup.
Yeah, the way that this one works is, you have like your 4 parts, Kishoten kits, right? And then you break down Kishoten kit. Each section of the Kishoten kits is broken down into, you have your comfort, just wait to see. You have your comfort, and then plot goal number 1, and then plot goal number 2, and that's your intro. And think about it, what you're basically doing is through this part, you're introducing. That's it. You're just introducing, what's the normal, what's the norm, what's the status quo, who is who. That's all you're supposed to really do. You don't want to do anything else. And then plot goal number 1 and plot goal number 2 are sort of like the leading events that start creating what we would call the rising action. It's right before the rising action part. It's the introduction, right? And so then in the next part, you have show, which is development. You're just developing. There's nothing crazy that happens. I mean, maybe you can have your second, your second climax, something small that happens. An inciting incident is how it was explained to me. It's your inciting incident happens right here, right? And so you go from your comfort to a new world or a new normal, something different, and you get to explore that. And then from here we go into the trial stage, which is and trials usually do best when they're in odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5, 7, that usually works best. For some reason, in a lot of Asian cultures, they use 4. Well, I guess that makes sense. I know why they use 4.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons they could use 4, but there's trials, goals that they have to accomplish. And then the next ones are fun. So for 10, what she suggested was what's called success, meaning they accomplish, like, what is their primary goal? They accomplish that. Congratulations. Now we're going to punish you for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to punish them. That's your 10. They accomplish, like, you literally have two conflicting things happen within the 10, which is the twist. It's not necessarily a climax. It doesn't necessarily have to be a conflict. That's what's beautiful about Kishoten Kids, is it doesn't have to be conflict driven. It only has to be a surprise. That's it. It has to be a surprise. And then Kit is it's not a resolution in the fact that you solve the problems. It's just result. It's the result of what happens. Whatever this twist is, it's the result. But in the Harmon cycle, we have a very similar set of actions. We have the return to a normal, or new normal. So basically, things calm down, whatever, and then loose ends.
Right.
Spelled loose wrong. So you tie up all of your loose ends, and it doesn't have to be a happy resolution. It just means that any lingering questions that still need to be answered get answered in that stage. And that's basically how that works out. And what's really cool, the way this works out for me, I have 64, so we have 8 parts here. If we divide each of these by... My brain is suddenly giving out on me. Yeah, each one of these is their own volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each one of these is going to be one volume of God's Bane.
Right.
It works out perfectly for me. So now you have like a little bit idea of a preview of what might happen with God's Bane. When all the stuff might happen.
It's interesting that still feels very much like the hero's journey, which I've got right up here.
It is.
Right, because you even said the same words. You've got your call to action, crossing the threshold. The mentor teaches the lead. The first challenge, the temptation, the dark moment, final conflict, and then return home. So you start here in Act 1, and you move to Act 2, and then to Act 3.
Yep.
It's all still there. It's fascinating how we managed to all come up with that at the same time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then what I did to make this a little bit more hi Patsy. What I did to make this a little bit more interesting is we have arcs, right? So what I did is I then broke it down so that I forgot I made monochrome. Each one of these two, I've made an arc. So each arc, or each like important events, this kind of makes sense, as well. So it kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a specific plot or goal or special event that goes over these two. So I take this entire chunk here, this entire 8 parts, and I break it down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each one of these, every 2 volumes will have another set of 8. So there's 8 chunks in here.
Right.
So here's another set of 8. There's 8. Forgot I've got a weird stability on this brush. Another set of 8 and then another set of 8.
Oh, light streams.
Right. So
we've got 5 minutes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I break it down even more, and then every chapter gets its own set of 8, and then each volume gets its own set of 8. There's 8 chapters per volume.
Right.
And then every single chapter has 16 pages. Divide by 2 is 8. So I break it down into 8 chunks again. So it's literally like a nesting doll that I built. Mm-hmm. And it makes it super easy to write.
Yeah.
This works for me.
Yeah, I'm doing... I wanted to show you, though, real quickly here. We've put in now commitment range, because you were talking about you need to commit by the time you get to page, say, 8. 4 to 8 is usually where you want them to commit. So we have this commitment range logo on here now, which is what that says, commitment range.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, so that you know where you have to put the hook.
Right. If I don't hook them in by that point, you lost them. But my new version has them also as spreads, because I don't think about doing spreads. And I can, and I should think about that, but I don't. So instead, I now have them as spreads.
Oh, very nice.
So that I can remember to do them as spreads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have such a hard time when I draw them individually. I get nervous and I'm like, what about the other page? Or like I spend so much time like worrying about the other page that I found myself actually like setting up each page side by side so I could just switch between pages drawing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I might as well just put the spreads together if I'm going to do this.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I moved to here. I felt like when I was writing a script, I didn't have situational awareness of the page. And that's why I was like, well, what if I just started writing on the actual pages? You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to fussing and fighting and freaking out and getting all worked up on all this stuff. What if I just started writing here directly and then copy this up? And it became much better. And then I did all of the scripting, and then I moved, and then I drew all the pages together here, and then I shuffled back and forth, and I was like, gosh, this is a waste of time. Why didn't I just write the actual script direct? So the last script was written on here. There's no actual text file somewhere with it, you know. And I thought that was that's like my recent big jump, because it's not the way you think. You know, we're all taught that you're supposed to open up a Word document and go page 1, panel 1, Joe says this, Tim says this, you know, and we're taught that as a procedure. And I'm sitting here going, I don't think I need that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same, yeah.
I think I just need to be here, and then I just scribble in all the words, and then at some point I convert those to type and put them up onto the actual page. But that's me. This is the...
Yeah.
And everybody has to do it differently. And I think it's even funnier because you and I are both neurodivergent. And I think that it's funny that you and I appease our neurodivergence in two different ways.
Yeah. I think for me, it comes from the fact that I'm very math and science oriented.
Yeah.
I'm a very left-brained person by default. Like I never intended to be an artist. I think part of it for me is also the fact that I was a musician for a really long time. And so for me, feeling like the beats literally and being able to divide that, like that's why music made my math brain happy. Because music is very logical, as far as like pattern wise. It's very easy it can be easy to predict. And so I liked music, and I kind of take the same approach that I made when I was learning how to do animation. And with the timing and the pacing that I also did with music, and just applied it to comics.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it's an interesting thing, because I actually am also attracted to music too. So I think I could have gone your way as well. I just had a bad math teacher, which messed up my math part. Like at the critical point, because I think third grade is a critical point for all of us.
Yeah.
I think we all do like something at third grade, and it's just so critical, and it's like, so I think my feeling is that I was moved from the ability to do math. Good night, Donald. You too. And so I think that's what happened with me. Sorry. I'm going to go ahead and render as soon as I'm going to render this video as soon as we're done with this animation, or we'll render this animation as soon as we are clear from the show tonight, so that it'll render at night while I'm sleeping and not, in fact, while I'm working.
Good idea.
Because I don't know where the animation went, but it's complete. So I'll just re-render it, and then that'll be fine.
If you remember what the file name was, you should be able just to search for it.
Yeah, except that I did, and it didn't come up. So it's somewhere, and I didn't name it right. So that's on me. I messed it up. I get it. It's my fault. Anyway, I really like when you and I talk about contrast like this. That was kind of cool. Like the contrasting between how you do things and how I do things. I find that fascinating all the time. Like how Ken does stuff is completely different than how I do things. And like all three of our mangas still have a certain feel, and it's consistent, and like it's really interesting to me that we managed to get X number of pages printed out, sitting on the table, looking like a real thing, that fascinates me.
Yeah, I think it's super fun just to see like the way that everyone works differently.
Agreed.
I think that's been one of the big coolest things about working in community is literally everyone works differently.
Mhm.
Super cool.
And there's no wrong way to do it. But the
Yeah.
real reason I like discussing all these different things is because if I had seen someone, I call this the Phil Collins method of doing comics. I think they really call it the Stan Lee method, which is just draw the panels and somebody else comes in and writes the words, and we all just hope it all fits,
Mhm.
But the reality is, I was watching a video once, or a documentary once on Phil Collins, and the way he composes music is the band gets out there, they start just playing some chord somewhere, and they hit a chord progression of some sort, and things start to sound good. And when they do, Phil Collins just starts going, and he's not saying anything. It's all just words.
He's feeling it out.
And he's just feeling out. Yeah, exactly. He's feeling out the rhythm and the pattern and everything. And as he does, he starts to come up with words that fit in that spot. And I'm like, that is like the most bohemian version of this that has ever existed.
Yeah.
Paper isn't even involved in this. He just literally evolves from his brain things. And of course, after he comes up with whatever, they go back over it and they rewrite it and they mess with it and they fuss with it until it's all nice. But I loved that methodology. I mean, so much that I saw this documentary in like the 90s and I still remember it so clearly, because I was like, I think this is the way I work, But even then, I didn't know I could do this until somebody showed me. So it's kind of like, showed me something different, like a different methodology. So I like when we do this because it's like you are correct and I am correct. And it depends on what kind of artist you are. Maybe you're more like me. Maybe you're more like Kat. Doesn't really matter, So, okay. Well, I'm going to switch back to this. Patsy came in just to say hi, and I think she vanished. But that's okay. She'll come back at some point. She does often. So, but either way, I am going to go to bed because it's bedtime.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up early and do a few things for work.
I've got to take the kiddo to camp tomorrow because Mariah has gotten a job tomorrow. So she's going to be subbing.
I got 3 pages sketched out. That's kind of slow for 3 hours, but we talked a lot, so it's okay.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Do you want me to disable your YouTube in the morning?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll try to remember to do that. I'll really try to remember to do that.
Oh, I'll do that before I leave.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'll close the stream down, and then we'll start that in the morning and everything. I will see you all later. Thank you all for joining us today. We had Patsy, and we had Neon, and we had Donald, and we had Jung, and we had Little Mango Art, who was here as well. And let's see, who else was here? I'm going back through everything. We had Restream, which said hi. That was very nice of Restream to say hi. Thanks, Restream. And we it seems like we had a lot of people here today. It was really a good day. So good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me again, Kat. I appreciate that. Yes. And as always, I will see you tomorrow, and keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.
Bye. Take it easy.